Hello, testing.
So hi, good evening everyone. Welcome to the official pre-event of Hackathon 7.0, proudly presented by City Kusat and powered by Edupod. And we are absolutely thrilled to have you all here today for Hackathon, a panel discussion on a topic that is central to every developer's toolkit, mastering Git and GitHub. But before we dive in, let's take a moment to acknowledge GitHub, our gold sponsor for Hackathon 7.0. And GitHub has not only revolutionized the way developers collaborate and build, but they also continue to empower students and professionals alike through initiatives like the GitHub Student Developer Pack. So today's event will bring together some of the brightest minds in the field, individuals who have mastered the art of using GitHub to collaborate, innovate, and create. So whether you're a first-year student just beginning your coding journey or a seasoned fourth-year hackathon veteran, we have something here for everyone in the session. And we are honored to have three incredible experts with us in this evening. And they are Alwin John, Sannidhya Dubey, and Viswanatha Kartha V. And today we'll be exploring everything from the basics of Git to advanced features on GitHub, including best practices and how these tools can specifically benefit you in the upcoming Hackathon 7.0, Kerala's largest and longest running hackathon. So first, let's meet our panelists. First, we have an extraordinary individual whose innovation knows no bounds, and it is Sannidhya Dubey, a CSE student from VIT Bhopal. Sannidhya is a master of mobile applications development with a focus on crafting visually stunning and user-friendly experiences. Now, whether it's creating seamless apps or elevating UI UX to the next level, he's the one turning development with a focus on crafting visually stunning and user-friendly experiences. The So whether it's creating seamless apps or elevating UI or UX to the next level, he is the one turning complex ideas into reality. A GitHub campus expert, Google Cloud Arcade facilitator, and passionate about everything from cybersecurity to cloud computing, Sannidhya's expertise stretches across mobile apps, web development, open source contributions, and the cloud. So let's all give a warm welcome to someone who's shaping the future of tech, Sannidhya Dubey. And next we have Alwin John. With a freshly minted BTech in computer science, Alvin has already made waves as a front-end engineer at Atlan. He's a mentor, a React and JavaScript maestro, and a GitHub campus expert, having shaped the skills of over 600 students across hackathons, workshops, and boot camps. From enhancing UX to creating high-performance design systems, Alvin's passion for front-end engineering shines through in every project he touches. Proficient in a dazzling array of languages and frameworks, he's the guy who brings innovation to the digital space. Presenting to you, Alwin John, a true powerhouse. And next over here, we have Viswanatha Kartha V. He's a community leader, problem solver, and self-confessed tinkerer who thrives on breaking things just to fix them better. With leadership roles spanning GDSC, IEEE, and TinkerHub, Viswanatha is always at the forefront of tech communities, guiding them toward innovation. He's the co-founder of Studio One and the creative mind behind Power Chords, always ready with answers, no matter how deep he has to dive. Authentic, unapologetic, and undeniably resourceful, Viswanatha's mantra is simple. I do because I can. Presenting to you the one and only Viswanatha Kartha V. Okay, so then let's start with our discussion. Okay, so first we have a common question for all the panelists. Yes. Okay, then this is a common question. So here's the question. Okay, for those who are new to GitHub, can you explain what GitHub is and why it is so important to today's software development landscape? Yes, Sannidhya, we would love to hear from you.
First of all, Maria, thank you for such an ecstatic introduction. So yeah, Git and GitHub are like basically two different things. Git is a version control system, and GitHub is, I'd say, a software that's built around version control system, offering additional features like creating repositories and managing branches and other such facilities. GitHub is like a community in its own way, and you can go ahead and search all these repositories and all those ideas that you might have in your mind. You know, someone might have already built them out, and you might just find your code there. So it's like an innovation in itself. You can go ahead and you can see what others have built. You can take inspiration from that. You can always look up licenses and you reuse the code that's available over there. You can brainstorm ideas. You can participate in hackathons such as Hacktoberfest that's been going around this October, and a lot of such things. I think it's the one that's shaping open source for us.
Yeah. Yes, okay. Thank you, Sannidhya. Okay, then Alvin, would you love to share something?
Yeah. So Git and GitHub, the bread and butter for all software engineers alike. So in terms of specifying the amount of impact that it made throughout the years, it's been 10 years, 10, 11 years, in 10 years. It's been the GitHub was founded, Git was founded way back. So in terms of difference, as Sannidhya mentioned, Git is a version control tool. You can collaborate, manage a particular project, a repository, different kind of repository, different complex command histories, a lot of stuff. But in the essence, it's just a managing software, version control software, to track the changes that has been done throughout the timeline. So you can go deep into Git and get all the nuances in it, and that all comes through experience only, like collaborating with other open source contributors, working on any nasty bug in a particular project. Only that way, it is only that way you could actually learn about Git. So in terms of what is GitHub? As Sannidhya again mentioned, it's a big organization, and I wouldn't term it as an organization. I see it as a hub of different communities, a hub of different companies, a hub of different individuals working towards making an impact by creating a lot of projects, open source projects, commercial projects, and anything alike. And GitHub offers a lot of stuff for students, individuals, software engineers, and other experience as well. In terms of if you want to actually have your own extension or have your own plugins in the marketplace, you could actually do that. And it consists of a lot of features. Like I mentioned, marketplace is there, Explore is there. You could actually see the trending repositories, and you could recently you have seen the boom of AI, and you could actually see it all. You could actually see the vibrant community doing there in GitHub. So yeah, GitHub is a community. It is a software, and it's a better and better. And you could actually dabble into, break things, do things. So it's a free thing.
Okay, thank you, Alvin. Now, Viswanatha, would you like to share something? Would you like to build upon Sannidhya's and Alvin's views?
Yes, actually, there are two parts to that question, I guess. What is GitHub? There's GitHub as an organization, and then there's GitHub as a product, GitHub as a website, github.com. And I think everything github.com as a product is everything that Sannidhya and Alvin said, but there's a bit more to that. It acts as your developer portfolio. Okay, you do everything on GitHub, and that it's a public thing. So that builds upon the topic of being public and doing stuff in public, and then you share your repository, your username to someone, and they go to your profile and they see what kind of work you have done, what kind of experiences you have, what kind of organizations you are part of, what kind of projects were you building, and all those things. This is a public portfolio of what you have done as a developer. In my opinion, github.com, that product is apart from everything that was said, that is also a developer portfolio. That's a very important use of GitHub. And as an organization, GitHub what it does, it empowers people through its programs like GitHub Education. What it does is it empowers the new and coming community, new and coming developers into being a better version of themselves. As in, they provide packs like we'll get into it later. I guess about GitHub developer. I know everyone has been like they have been intentionally keeping that a suspense, but then there's packs like stuff like internships and a developer pack that GitHub as an organization that provides, and that is to actually empower people from different diverse amount of people, the diversity of people into being a better into giving them a better platform to showcase themselves and to get to them the resources that they might otherwise not be able to access. So that's my answer to that.
Okay, thank you, Viswanatha. Now, Sannidhya, you have worked extensively in mobile app development. So how do you use GitHub to manage complex app projects across different platforms? Can you share some best practices for mobile developers using GitHub?
That's a really nice question, Maria. Myself as an Android developer, when I first started out, looking at other repositories. So actually, mobile app development was the one thing that intrigued me into learning what actually GitHub is all about. So we have all those videos on YouTube, right, where they say that this app is not available on Play Store and you should go ahead and download it from a shady link. That's actually GitHub. So I went to those artifacts a few years back, and I used to see all these applications being hosted on GitHub, but not on Play Store, right? So I used to think that, is it a scam? What actually the application is all about? And when I later understood what the meaning behind it was, maybe it's an indie developer not having the money for creating a Play Console account, or maybe just that they want to open source their project, they want to let others know how their application works or things like that. It's what intrigued that part of me that wanted to learn GitHub first. Then the artifacts that I was talking about, where APKs are there, all of those things are controlled by CI/CD operations. CI/CD is continuous integration, continuous deployment in the full effect. And you basically go ahead and create a YML file that contains simple code that's understandable to if you just give a little time to it. And you then create a list and set of rules that GitHub utilizes, and you tell them about what you want to do. Do you want to create this application and want to send it as an artifact? Do you want to publish it to your repository and stuff like that? So yeah, uh, it's, I guess, a good feature for us mobile developers in general. Then you can also publish packages on, as Viswanatha and Alvin said, and all those packages can be used. I use Flutter in general, so pub.dev is the package manager for Flutter, and all of the applications that I utilize have their plugins based on GitHub itself.
Okay, thank you, Sannidhya. Now, Alvin, you have mentored a lot of students during hackathons, right? Now, what is one advice that you'd give to students on how to get started with GitHub, especially during a hackathon, and for those students who might feel overwhelmed by its features?
Yeah. So before I answer that questions, I want to know the audience. And from 30 people are here, I want to ask the audience, did anybody attend hackathons before, or is this hackathon is your first hackathon? You could actually raise a reaction, comment with emojis, fire emojis, just raise some interaction in the chat box. Like, is this your first hackathon? I would like to, yeah, it's my first hackathon, Fatima. What about other folks? You could actually say like, okay, this is my second hackathon, third hackathon, it's fine. Just want to know the audiences here. So there is a reaction button. Okay, here's the name here. Yeah. F18. So, how many of you are first years, second years, third years, fourth years, fifth years? Oh, it's pretty blank. I want to say they are current string, their current years. Okay, fourth year, first year. Come on, pace it up. Come on, everybody. Okay, cool. We have a wide range of audiences. So yeah, that helps. So coming back to the question. What was the question? So yeah, I'm just kidding. So basically, the advice for, yeah, I have seen a lot of scenarios in hackathons, a lot of funny situations, the extreme situations, last moment situations, and different stories. But I would like to advise one thing. when you are doing your first hackathon, second hackathon, third hackathon, it doesn't matter the number of hackathons. You always want to keep your first initialization to your deployment in check. You don't want to do the deployment part, do the version part at the last moment. I have seen lot of cases, lot of scenarios that okay, they want the product is all done, the idea is all done, but they haven't pushed it into the deployment, particularly in any universal AWS or anything. They just kept it as local, and I do want to suggest that just do the initialization part first, create a repository, add the members, even if it is a private, you want to give access to everyone, set up the first commit, do the first, what do you say, the boilerplate, install everything, run it, deploy it first. You want to deploy it first. I emphasize this a lot because once you did these first steps, your progress on building the idea, building the impact that you want in a hackathon would be much easier. So I heavily, what do you say? Just do the first part. Okay, that's the one advice that I want to give. And in an overall time period in a hackathon, you want to make sure your commits are in check. You don't want to commit like a lot of changes. And in a particular, if you are working on an existing idea and you are forking that and creating your own version of it, you want to keep in check the commits. You want to keep in your the changes that you have done. You need to make it consistent enough. It should be readable also for the reviewers, judges. They wouldn't check the commits history. I'm not saying that, but it's for your own, what do you say, a playbook kind of thing. You want to keep that consistent in every project. It doesn't matter if it's a hackathon, a personal project, or a collaboration project. You want to keep it consistent. So yeah. Sorry, I took it out on time.
Okay, Alvin. Okay, that was very interesting, Alvin. Now, Viswanatha, as someone with experience leading open source communities, how important is GitHub for collaborative coding? And is there any advice that you would like to give to students interested in contributing to open source projects?
Yes. So GitHub, as we have been saying it for like half an hour, GitHub is paramount for collaborative project because like what other option do we have? We have the other option what we usually do is to pack the entire folder of project into a zip and send it over Google Drive or WhatsApp, and that's tedious. Like the thought of that makes me scared. So GitHub is actually paramount for collaborative coding. That is the entire base upon which the product, the GitHub, is built upon. And as an open source community, what we can do is GitHub in ways that are actually innovative. And rather than, okay, I'm not saying rather than, but adding upon to project that we do on GitHub, as a community, we can have organizations in GitHub. So, for example, I have like organization for my college, like TinkerUp, GDC, and we have all these organizations upon in GitHub. Do is we showcase we do in these Git pages. So there are things like if an event happens, there are things like the Git book. So what we do is we create a wiki of how the event went, and all those things are updated into the GitHub itself. So this also acts as an open blog for anyone. For example, this thing that called Open Hack that happened years back in my college, and so even it happened before I even joined my college. So even now I can go back and refer to what happened, what was the entire agenda of the event, what exactly went, how many meetings were held, all those minute details that you might miss as a new person who's getting into the organization. You can actually document it everywhere, document all these things as a public repository in the GitHub. And that's the thing you can do as a manager, as a managerial position. using GitHub. And also when getting into GitHub, so one thing is you are actually really scared. Okay, when you take up GitHub and take a repository, for example, when I got into GitHub because I was interested in Linux and open source in general, and I wanted to see the Linux kernel. Obviously, a bad choice for a first repository to look at. And it had like C. So I was a bit confident in my C language, and that confidence just went away after seeing that repository, because the language that there was, it was not C. Okay, it's not C language that we use. It's a whole another ball game. And this thing is really written, like really common when you see students who are interested in projects that they might be using. For example, VLC player. You hear that VLC is an open source application, and you just go into the code and get scared shit out of it. And that's the thing that's really common. And what we can do is to accept the situation. And the first thing to do is accept the situation that these codes are actually really large, and you have to build by taking small steps. And for that, we have websites like goodfirstissues.dev. These websites actually have issues that are really good for the new developers that are marked as good first issues, and they can be done by a person who is actually a beginner. They can actually contribute to those projects, and even if projects that you use are not that famous or not that complex, you can actually go to the code and browse through it and get a general idea of what's going on in the code. And another thing is Hacktoberfest is going on, and this is a perfect time for everyone to actually check out goodfirstissues.dev and Hacktoberfest tag issues. I'm not asking you to spam it, but this is a perfect time for that to get into tech, to get into open source. And coincidentally enough, Makeathon is happening, so kudos to that. And so again, take up small steps and build upon it, and take up a code base that you are already familiar with, not already familiar with. Take up a project that you're already familiar with. Check if it has a code that you might want to check out, and understand small parts of the code. Do not take the code as a whole thing. And usually code of good projects are actually pretty much documented really well, and also segmented really well. So if you want to take up, for example, in VLC or example, Amaze File Manager, you can take up the code and see sections of of individual modules, for example, file copying module or file pasting module. These parts are small parts that come together as a whole. You can browse through all these smaller chunks and get better intuition of how the code base actually is structured, and how the entire thing fits together. So I guess that's a better approach. That's a really good. So I think that's a good approach to open source in general.
Okay, thank you, Viswanatha. And Alvin and Sannidhya, do you have anything to add to what Viswanatha has said?
I think I recently heard a podcast where I was hearing Mark Zuckerberg say, that whatever he has contributed over these past few years in AI, and he was really pushing out open source as the only way to go ahead in this AI race that's been going on. And over there, he said a few lines that I was really stuck upon, wanted to really ponder upon that situation. So I remember the time when Google came out at first, and it was the biggest search engine, and no one could ever compete with it. I mean, we still use Firefox and Microsoft Edge, but let's be honest. So at that time, what happened was that open source wasn't really as much valued as it is in today's world. And that created a monolith or a giant as we know it, Google. And due to which a lot of companies missed out on creating those core technologies that are powered by today. Suppose we have Android and iOS in our phones as an ecosystem, right? As an OS operating system. But what if the whole of this Android kernel systems and everything was open sourced out, and people could make their own OSs out of it, and everything could be done in the hands of common people, there would be more competition and there would be more operating systems, right? But during that time, it wasn't possible, and people lagged out on creating and being a part of such a big thing that happened at, at that point in the century. And now the same thing is happening, and it's Chat GPT all around. And this time, Mark Zuckerberg said that having healthy competition is better. So instead of an organization that is completely closed source and is using proprietary software that's using their machine learning algorithms and techniques, he just bought out 10 billions worth of NVIDIA GPUs and trained his personal model that was in his own personal data set of Instagram and Facebook, and he just open sourced it out. To have a healthy competition, everything must be open source. People must have access to all of those resources. And now we see that companies have built out on the Llama model that's there, and and all thanks to Meta, everything is possible. So yeah, open source, I think has just made a new meaning for me since that podcast that I heard. And yeah, it's just a thing that I wanted to share, and I had to Vishwanath.
Okay, thank you, Sannidhya. Now, Alvin, would you like to share something? Would you like to add something upon what Sannidhya and Viswanatha has said?
Yeah, in terms of the possibilities around, like Sannidhya mentioned, there are a lot of innovations, additions, exposure in what to do. You have your own decisions to make. You have your own ideas to get it out. And there are opportunities for you to bring out your creative side. And yeah, there are a lot of stories, a lot of competitions. I could give a lot of examples for one of the, I can give 2 examples. Most of the folks have heard or know Postman, right? Anyone know Postman? You can again use the chat for reaction. Yeah. So Postman, for those who don't know what Postman is, it's a API testing tool in a short form. It's a API testing tool, and there are a lot of features in it. And you could test different APIs, different endpoints, GraphQL. A lot of stuff is there. And about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, an individual from Kerala and his friend actually was facing trouble with Postman. So Postman is built on Electron, and as some of you may know, Electron is what is used for building VS Code and Chromium, and not Chromium, VS Code is there, Chrome is there, and it takes a lot of consumption in the RAM, CPU, and overall it heats up a lot. And in older systems, it works very bad. So this was a user experience problem and technical problem as well. And one of the folks built an open source version to actually have a funny way of saying that the project was named as Post Woman. And later on, a lot of folks from the community actually like the alternative, the open source version. And it grew. a lot of contributors actually made contribution to it. The two folks grow larger, and yeah, that's hopscotch. Yeah, I haven't specified the name, but yeah. So that's hopscotch. It rebranded to hopscotch later on as it grew, and it's currently what do you say? It's a competitor. No, I wouldn't say competitor. An alternative to Postman. You could see the valuation of hopscotch is about 300, 400 crores. I don't know, but the power of having that particular problem and solving it via the open source way and bringing other um, folks that have the same problem makes a great product, makes a great experience for others to use it. See, the concept is same, the usability is same, but it's a way of having that problem reduced. It's much faster than Postman. It's much easier. There's a web version. That was something. Now there is a desktop version as well. And yeah, it's really amazing. You have to hear the story. It's in YouTube. Articles are there. The official release notes are there. You could dig deeper. That's one story. Second story. This was related to AI. And again, don't judge me. It's because these stories are known, and it's been recently being picked up by news and stuff. Just sharing my the things that I know. So, as you may have heard, this is an AI age. AI is everywhere. AI, Apple intelligence, artificial intelligence. AI is everywhere. And couple of months back, Devin was released, and Devin is something what you call an alternative for you folks, like alternative to software engineers, alternative to developers, alternative to folks who work on IT. So it was a concept, wasn't really released into the public. It was more towards companies, more towards business. And that was the time young man from MEC, not only MEC, he is currently leading his own company. And sarcastically, he tweeted like, "Oh, Devin, amazing! Let's build a another open source alternative to it, named Devika." And he just tweeted that, and it was picked up like instantly. It was picked up like all over, and he built it like in a hackathon version. He built it like in 48 hours, one day, 48 hours. He built it in 2 days. The thing that was there for to replace software engineers, Devin, was built like in 48 hours with the power of open source, AI models, AI services, and it was public, free. It was there, and it was there for the individuals to be used. And yeah, this kind of power is only available in open source communities, open source projects, open source integration. So yeah, that's Devika. And it was all over the news. It was picked up by Combinator, I believe. Their parent company was applied to Combinator, but yeah, Devika. So these two stories. Again, everything was like okay, one was a problem and it was solved. One was a funny thing and it solved a lot of problems. So yeah, it can, based upon your decisions of what you want to do. You can do anything in the open source world. So yeah.
Okay, Alvin. Now, Vishwanatha, I know we are going a little bit off topic, but would you like to share something about Devika?
So About Devika, I don't think I have much to contribute other than that story that was really interesting story. But about the alternativist idea in general, I guess this a bit of that. Kerala has seen a lot of open source projects come forth, open source companies come forth, and I guess it's all because of that this alternativistic mind that we have. So there's this thing that's controlled by a proprietary software. Let's make it open source. Let's make something that's better open source. So there's this mindset that's going on that's driving that fire behind the open source culture, not in Kerala, but in general. So throughout history, we can see like there is a software that's controlled by some kind of proprietary company. Then there comes a super awesome dude who can, super awesome person who can actually create a
I think we lost him.
Hello.
Yeah. You're back.
Yes, Viswanatha, you're audible. Yes, yes.
Okay. And I get say again, this story continues as time goes on, and that's exactly what we saw in case of Devika too with Devin. And so I guess this is that mindset of freedom, that mindset of that frustration of being having only one solution that's also controlled by some kind of proprietary company. That's so we cannot see what's going on beneath what we are using. That mindset is actually driving forth this alternativistic minds, the building culture that's actually driving open source, in my personal opinion. Yes, that's it.
Okay, now let's move on to a different topic then. Okay, here's a common question for all of our panelists. So one of the biggest benefits for students is the GitHub Student Developer Pack. Now, can each of you share how you personally use the pack and why it's a game changer for student developers? Okay, now so let's start with Sannidhya.
Since I first started, going to college, I had this thing in mind. I wanted to build a project. I wanted to host it. I wanted to create this SaaS application that every student aspires when he's in his first year. And I didn't have the money for hosting services. I didn't have the money for buying out a domain. I didn't have the money for doing all those CI/CD operations that automate all those building out and pushing a project to production. And I just learned about GitHub in general. So I came upon this article where they were looking into hacky things on how to get this stuff for free for 1 year, or how to get domains for a year for free. And I came across GitHub Student Developer Pack, and there I came to know the host and the suite of apps that were allowed to me as a student for free. And I bought my first .tech domain. I hosted my portfolio on it. I grew as an individual. I looked up to all those things offered by them. I think 4 years ago there were I think Canva gave out 1 year free, and there was a lot of I think they update it regularly per year based on what are the newer trends. I think if you go onto the Student Developer Pack, you'll see a lot of AI related companies as well that are joined now with GitHub as a partner. Just a lot of things in general. So if you're a student, if you're enjoying those 4 years in your college, then GitHub's got you, I guess. That was my story. Yeah.
Okay, Sannidhya. Now, Viswanatha, let's hear from you.
Okay. So GitHub Developer Pack, I was introduced to GitHub Developer Pack, I guess, by a video by Krunal Kushwa. If I remember it correctly, it was Krunal Kushwa. I was going through random videos in YouTube, and he told about GitHub Developer Pack and the things you could get with your college mail ID. So the first thing I got with my college mail ID was a GitHub Developer Pack, and I completely forgot about it for like I sent it for verification, and it came for like one week later, I guess, and I completely forgot about it for like another 3 months. And then I applied. I tried to re-verify it. I tried to verify it again. Then I saw that I already had the pack, and all those things that were provided with the GitHub Developer Pack. I guess what what stood out to me the most was the Azure credits. That so you cannot get them. So I do not have a credit card, and you cannot get a cloud service until you have a credit card, either you or your parents or some kind of family. They actually ask a little credit card verification. So one thing that if I had to take away one thing that would make GitHub Developer Pack the best thing in the world is that not non-verification, no credit card required, Azure $100 credit that you get. So that introduced to me. So I can now host stuff in Azure, and I can do my own. I can self-host things in Azure and play with CI/CD and all those things. Actually, that single thing, that single pack given by GitHub Developer Pack, that get single feature wise, that actually introduced me to the whole world of CI/CD. Then there was stuff like the domain, the Namecheap domain, and the name.com domain. You can get the .tech, .me domains. All those things you can get it for free for like 1 to 2 years, I guess. And then there's stuff like Interview Cake or stuff like Interview. So I'm a 4th year, and Interview Cake has been helpful for me, and all those things. So above everything else, GitHub Copilot. I cannot live a day without GitHub Copilot. I know it's kind of harmful, but I like it. What can I'm getting used to it. So that's all those things that were provided by developer. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, Viswanatha. Now, Alvin, would you like to share your experience on using the pack?
Yeah. So since you are all students, you could actually go to education.github.com, have your email, education email, sign up, wait for it, get verified, and have your pack ready. And it has many. Previously, it was kind of like a. In my first year, it was like a list of things. Now it's more having a group kind of thing. Like there is a certain suits for AI, there's a certain suits for design, and there are a lot of tools inside that. It's just groupings. You could see the list as well. And what I used mostly throughout the time was, since I'm a front-end engineer, so I like to see JavaScript related things and courses, premium courses. And it was at that time like Front-End Masters was there, and I binge watched all of the courses there. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Git and GitHub CSS, a lot of stuff from there only, and has been very helpful because there is 6 months premium availability there for any other tool assets. Like Interview Cake is there for interviews. Figma tool is there also for design suits also there. So if one of the folks is a designer, you could actually avail the tools and technologies softwares in the design category as well. And since this is a hackathon, there is a hackathon suite as well. You could definitely visit that. It contains the what do you say, code spaces. You could actually code it in the web, do not install VS Code locally, but I do suggest to do it locally because it gives you the, what do you say, the feeling of doing something like techie oriented. One of the folks from the back would see you like, oh, pro coder. And doing it in a web way kinds of get that for I'm just missing. So there are a lot of things, and now there are advanced certifications that GitHub provides. Previously, it was paid. Now it's available for students as well. The what is a GitHub Foundation certifications. It contains the learnings in Azure fundamentals and GitHub Actions. A lot of stuff. You would definitely visit. And what else? Mobile development suite is there. Virtual event kit. If you are hosting an event, a virtual event, there is a streaming tool like StreamYard is there. would definitely use. I believe Vishwanath used it for his podcast, StreamYard. So I'm just actually shamelessly plugging advertising this podcast. So that is there. What else? Yeah, if you are into data science and data engineering, there are suits for that as well. Lot of tools, and it has been great. Like, okay, you will feel like you have everything now. You don't want to do anything. It gives you that feeling, but it's it's a trap. Don't fall into that. Just pick up a tool, do tinker with it, and do something, create something, give out to people, help people. Yeah. Mostly I use for courses and so for learning stuff, and cloud the one which I mentioned, Azure is there. I use that as well, but most of the cases I just wait for learning. So yeah.
Okay, Alvin. Now, Vishwanatha, as we know that we have a wide range of participants, we have first year, second years, we have final years. So for all of them, how can beginners start using GitHub without feeling intimidated? And what kind of advanced features should experienced users focus on to make the most out of GitHub? Have you lost Vishwanatha?
Yeah, I'm back.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, I'll repeat the question for you.
Please.
Okay, yes. So as we know, we have a wide range of participants over here. We have first years, second years, and we have students from non-CS branches as well. We have from EEE Civil as well. So how can all of these students, from beginners to experts, how can we start using GitHub without feeling intimidated? And how can we make maximum use of all the features of GitHub?
So, for everyone who is, I've already told, as a beginner, GitHub can be scary if you look at code bases that are really, really large. So, the first advice I'll give is to start small, to take up some kind of thing that you're already using or that you might find interesting. So a small mobile app, so a small budget tracker application that you might be using. Take that code, understand it, like try to split it into modules, check by module how the code works and all of those things. That is the coding part. That's the code part that I'm telling. Then there's other things about GitHub that are, for example, as you already mentioned, education. You have to experience all these things by yourself. You have to experiment with GitHub. Yeah, just great things. He stole my life. Just break things. You have to get your hands dirty. You have to get your hands dirty and try out new things. So if a repository, you can try making a repository and try to create a PR, then try to do some commits afterwards and then see what went wrong. So they did the PR, get those commits even after you did the PR. You try things out. That's the only way you'll learn. So I guess as a beginner, what you should do is to not fear things, and so nobody can track your GitHub ID and go to your location and beat you or something like that. You can't do anything with it. So try breaking things. I'm not asking you to break some kind of production repository that your company probably left you with as an intern, but try breaking things that won't cause that much effect. So try breaking things. So don't fear that you cannot. So the code base is too large for me, or that I don't know how to use GitHub. So just try things out. That's the only way you'll be able to grow. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, Vishwanatha, that was very insightful. Now, Sannidhya, do you have any kind of advice to give to beginners who are using GitHub?
Very nicely said, Viswanatha. To add to it, I'd say that when I first started my open source journey, it wasn't always about going and finding a repository to contribute to and just bashing your heads over a wall as to how to contribute to this repository, although there is a contribution.md file there. It's more so that what you can contribute yourself as well, and how you can help out others as well. These are the two key things. If you can't help out others yet, if you're too new, if you're just starting out with open source, if you're just learning out what Git and GitHub is, my first suggestion to a student who's just learning about Git and GitHub is to, uh, push out his repositories to GitHub, to his profile. As our Vishwanath said, that it's a public profile. People visit it. People see how you've contributed over the years. I've gotten my first job because of this. The company that I am working at currently, they were looking for people who have contributed to open source since a very long time, since the time where there was nothing to contribute, or they weren't getting any benefit out of it, and they just found me and they just hired me like that. So just little things that you add to your profile, just things that you do, eventually will make it big, and eventually will help you out in some way or another. And you might think that the code that you're contributing to on GitHub, or the repository that you're posting to right now, might not be of a significance to anyone else, right? But just understand this, that in a couple of years you will be as much of a good coder as others are, and there'll be your juniors, and you'll have people who have just started getting to know about GitHub itself after 2 years also, right? And those people will come up to your repository and they'll see, oh, Bhaiya has contributed so much, and Bhaiya's first contribution was a to-do app, and I always wanted to make a to-do app, and whatever the code that you think is not up to the mark for you as your current standards will be of some use to a person who's just starting out GitHub, and who's just found your repository, who's finding your code useful and readable, just like how you started, just like how you did all those things back in the day. And it's a cycle that goes on, right? What comes on goes on. So and then he'll create a repository himself, and then he'll do the same thing for others, and this cycle will continue and continue, and open source will live forever. Yeah, that was.
Okay, Sannidhya. I am sure that would have been very helpful for our participants. And now, Alvin, do you have something to add to what Viswanatha and Sannidhya has said?
Yeah, both of them covered it all, and was nicely said. And I want to say it for the folks who have already been using Git and GitHub for their projects, and for those who have not used, I want to suggest a few things. For the users that has been using Git and GitHub, first of all, you want to have your Git fundamentals in check. You have to know the concepts. You have to know you don't need to know the commands itself. That can be Google, but you have to know the concepts behind it. Say if you are managing a large code base, I'm just giving an example, and there are multiple branches. You need to understand what is a branch. You need to understand how it's kept it as a different branch, how it's different from one branch to another. How do you do the difference between them? How do you retrace your steps by doing a reflow? How do you make your changes from one branch to another branch as a new commit, not a merge commit, as a rebase commit? How do you do these things? You have to, you can do this by trying out, you can do this by working with collaboration projects. See, I have mostly learned Git and GitHub through collaboration projects. Like I will create an organization, I'll create a project, I'll invite some people, and we just, I'll assign some tasks, we'll get together, have some chai, have some vada, and we just discuss and do the thing that we want to do. And I taught a lot of folks, my friends, like, okay, this is how you want to do. I wouldn't say, okay, I wouldn't specify the commands, like you need to add -m for the message. You don't want to directly go to the interactive terminal and do the commit there. I don't specify the specific commands. I just say, okay, just make a commit there. Okay, just rebase it from one branch to another. Okay, just cherry pick a particular commit from that particular branch and make it as a new merge commit in a main branch. So it kind of comes as a pattern once you do again repetitive tasks. And that's the first thing. You have to know your fundamentals. You have to know your concepts. And that's it. You could, from there, you could actually Google a lot of things. You don't have to remember it all. The concept has to be learned, and it will help throughout your project journey, development journey, whatever journey, fundamentals. And as for beginners, like Sannidhya mentioned his experience, how he got the job from Git into open source. And yeah, it gives a lot of opportunities by showcasing your works, as Viswanatha also said that. And one of the things like it was introduced like 3 years ago was the GitHub profile part. GitHub profile is something that you can make by, okay, if you have an account, go to your profile, create a repository with your username, and it will open up a secret repository. You could add your details. You could make your own profile, not as a social profile, but your own way of saying, okay, this is who I am. If you search for me, I'm Dexter's Hub in GitHub. That is who I am, Dexter's Hub. And it's a name that I have been carrying like many years. That is my gamer tag. Before coding and all, before college and all, I was into gaming and stuff. So that name is still there, and if you search for that, it will definitely come up in some part of. What I was saying is that if you have, you can showcase your own self in GitHub by creating a GitHub profile, by contributing to your open source. That name, that username, your name will be there as a history. It will be searched upon. It will be searched upon by many folks. You will think that, okay, nobody will search me, nobody knows me. No, it doesn't work like that. There are certain bots, there are certain readers in the internet that will read up on your profile. That's how I got the opportunity from my US startup in my 3rd year with an opportunity. And it was once in a lifetime opportunity, but I didn't want to do that because I don't want to work at night. I don't like working at night. So affects with the sleep and all. I want to work in daytime kind of a thing. I want to sleep. A major motivation is to sleep. Apart from so, but I was saying that yeah, you could actually create your own profile in GitHub that will definitely compound, give you opportunities, give you chances in a lot of stuff. And there are a lot of student programs as well in terms of open source, like Viswanatha forgot to mention GSOC is there. GSOC is there. Whatever, I forgot the names. It's been 1 year, but I still forgot the names of the programs. What is come on, Viswanatha, help.
Girl script is also there, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Girl script.
Effect is also
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Social.
It's only been 1 year since I passed out, but I forgot the names.
Winter is to see you.
Yeah. Yes, let's Google. But yeah, there are a lot of student programs that revolves around open source, and you could definitely contribute, be a part in that. And one other program is the GitHub Expert program that is again for students, and the 3 GitHub Expert programs. It's another story we could definitely share. But yeah, thank you.
Okay, then Alvin, can you share your experience here? Can you share your journey on becoming the GitHub Campus Expert?
That will take time. I'll pass Viswanatha first.
Okay. Okay, then Viswanatha, could you share your experience?
I'm not technically a campus expert, but I'm on. I want to mention that, but I cannot. Like so. So I'm not
You'll become in a
technically.
month.
Hopefully, yes.
Okay.
So the thing is, I got introduced to a game. Almost all of the stuff that I got introduced in tech was from again Kronal Kushaw's videos. He makes a lot of videos, and I like them. And so I heard this thing called Campus Expert, a GitHub Campus Expert, and when I joined college, I wanted to be part of GitHub Campus Expert. That's when I went ahead and stalked a lot of Campus Experts. That's when I came across Alwin John, and I just call message him, and so I said, I won't spam you. Please share me your number. I'm this person. I want to know your journey about being a campus expert. I promise I won't spam you. And he gave me his number. We had a call, and then
we met in through Twitter only.
Yes,
He stalked me. He literally
yes.
stalked me.
I literally stalked him and just messaged him like that. And so he told me a lot of things about being a campus expert, know the journey of being a campus expert, and actually people like Alvin actually made me realize that people from there was this inherent complex about not getting into IET, not getting into NIT. Can I become a campus expert? So Alvin a lot, and then there's Lisa, and then Samasishi. These people actually made me realize that it is actually possible to be a campus expert. All it matters is it's not about the college tag, it's about what you want to do for the community. So the campus expert is exactly that. What you want to bring as a change to the community, what do you see as a pain point in the community, and what kind of change would you bring if you had the power to empower others? That's the, I guess that's a one line for what GitHub Campus Expert would be doing. So that's kind of my journey of being a GitHub Campus Expert. I met Alvin, then when the next cohort of registrations came, I gave, and I got in, kind of. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Now, Sannidhya, can you share what it does take for one student to become a GitHub Campus Expert?
Well, first of all, I'll start by sharing my share of experiences. I am a seasoned GitHub Campus Expert, and here is my GitHub tag, as Ellen was saying. It's a thing that stays with you throughout. So I'm called the guy dangerous, as they call it. This happened back when I was applying for a tech lead role in there's a Google's club here at our college. I'm sure it's everywhere else also. It's Google Developers Student Club, and I had applied through it. I had just gone through, I think, 5 to 7 rounds of rigorous interviews, and they've asked me all sort of questions. I've answered them all flawlessly, and there wasn't just any chance, any way in heavens that they would just not select me for that role. And I was humble at that time. And then came in a topic that a lot of people in the industry say is nepotism. So it also happens in IT industries, wherein the current lead of that GDSC club, he chosen a student who has had connections with him over me, and so that kind of aroused this like thing in me that I want to create my own club, and I want to make it bigger than GDSC itself. So I then went on and created my own club. I hosted events. I did all of that. I mentored. I gave sessions to students who were out new to Git and GitHub, and I guess they noticed me, and I shared my story. I got selected in both rounds. I completed my all of the training that Git and GitHub provides, which Viswanatha is still under process for, and that's how you become a campus expert. You just have that sheer will to share your experiences, be that leader for your group, and just help out a community in general. That's what it takes to be a campus expert.
Okay, thank you, Sannidhya. Now, Alvin, I know you've told that your journey to becoming a GitHub campus expert was quite long, but could you again consolidate it and tell?
Yeah. Just so you know, the things that we share here, we are not saying one community is great over the other. We are just sharing our experiences. If any other organization was mentioned in this particular session or clubs, wherein my do have an open mind, like we are just sharing our experiences. We are not actually pointing out, okay, this is bad, this is bad. But yeah, with the story. So I got introduced to the program like in first year only. I was randomly going and searching. For the time's sake, I will sort it out. So I kind of applied like in the first get-go only. I didn't know about communities. I didn't know what I was doing. I was in college for music only. I'm a musician, by the way. I forgot to mention that. So I was keen to join a music club. I want to perform in band, shine, play some music, perform in band, make some money on the get-go. And that was the mindset that I was in my first year. And I was pretty much good around computer science, having good skill in Googling. So I just Googled the program, found a particular link application answer. I just copied that, pasted in the first application and sent it out, and straight rejection was there. And it was expected. So at that time, okay, I know that, okay, I got rejected. No matter, I just continue on what I want to do. I just keep trying out different things, and eventually, during second sem, that was the time around COVID had happened, and we were exposed to the internet, like giving free internet, giving the total focus on screens only, and that actually did help in boosting to know about student programs a lot, and online sessions were started, and that was the time I started taking sessions. I started with time management, and I did a session around time management, how to balance your college subjects with your what else? You're balancing out things with college studies and different community activities and stuff. I didn't know anything else. I just started with that, and as time grew, I tried out different fields, like what I want to do. I tried web development. I tried designing posters, designing machine learning. I tried. The fun fact is that I didn't like web development at first. I tried designing. Designing is something that I was more interested in because I could do it because my brother is a senior UX designer. He was working with design, so naturally I learned from him only, like learn the typography, spacing and stuff. So designing was something that I was familiar with, but still I didn't see it as a career kind of a thing. But still, I continued with that. Tried machine learning, didn't like it. Even though concepts were, I learned all of the concepts, but it was pretty interesting and all. But I didn't see it that way. Then I tried mobile development, and that was the time again. First time that Flutter was there, I tried it out, and at that point of time, I learned that okay, this is something I could do because I could create designs very fast, and I could see the actual thing in rendering. It was easy to set up. It was naturally intuitive, and I got the idea around in a general matter, like, oh, okay, is this thing only like in software engineering? Basic principle is the fundamental principle is this is what I believe is it is for solving problems, and you could actually combine with a good user experience. So it's all about solving problems and providing a good user experience. With that principle, I tried it again. Learning the whole thing. I tried web development again. I instantly loved it. And yeah, that was the time I worked around projects, and eventually from that point of time, like 2.5 years from there, I just being great at web development, front-end engineer and stuff. And that's how I came about that. So I had teaching skills. I had working with collaboration projects. I did have a skill. And I did the GitHub Campus Expert program. So that was the time around like, okay, the program was open for in 2 cohorts, like in February and August. And again, applied it second time, applied it again, and got straight rejected because still I've been part of community, but didn't actually get in. I don't know why. I had the experience, I had the skills, I had the overall stuff, but something was missing. Then I tried it again. I continued with I wanted to do. That was the time I started doing collaboration projects. A lot of projects around different clubs, different communities, different organizations, online communities, global communities. And I just started hopping around. And eventually, that was the time in our college. Everything, do note that everything was in college only. I haven't traveled anywhere. I haven't gone for any other stuff. Like everything was online. And at that time, a certain community was introduced. Tinker Foundation was just starting out, and it was introduced in our college. And I kind of been the tech lead there. And from there, I started teaching again. I've been teaching in separate session during the time, but as a exec position kind of a thing, like leading a community, I did try to create a club of my own. Failed miserably. I didn't like the way how the clubs were doing at that time, so I decided, oh, I could start my own and I could be better than everyone else, be better, but I eventually failed. So again started teaching, conducting sessions, initiatives, boot camps, web development boot camps, mobile development boot camps, hackathons and stuff. And this was in, I would say, around before 2020, yeah, 2021. I again applied the Campus Expert program in August. That is it. And I actually, okay, this time I wasn't feeling bad because I just did what I love and just keep going. So at that point of time, I had the skills. I know what I want to do. I have been part of communities. I kind of had a lot of folks. I just want to do something in a better way. I was going, it was the placement time also, and everything was pressurizing like, okay, you need to complete your studies, you have to do Twitter, you have to have a job. For that, I need to learn DSA, I have to try competitive programming. It was very confusing. So in 2022, January, New Year came, and I had a resolution that, okay, this is the year I will learn DSA and crack a, what do you say, advanced level kind of a thing. And I started learning DSA. First week, having lead code, created account code, started doing civil problems. After a week, I kind of procrastinated, and that went up. And yeah, it went bad. After a month, like in February 6th, I remember the date, I again put myself, okay, you could do it. You just need a different perspective. And that was the time I actually combined the goal of doing DSA with another goal. Like that was the time I actually had a Twitter account. It wasn't active. So I did want to make it active. So I combined the two things. I started a 100 days of coding challenge, 100 days of DSA challenge. I didn't see it from anywhere. I just wanted to do it for myself. So I started posting things. I started doing 100 days of coding challenge. I started with the day one with the code like, patience sucks. What you need is discipline with that code. And it went actually like a ripple effect in my campus, like everyone being appreciative. Oh, this is a good initiative. It will help a lot of folks to actually two things. Junior were asking, oh, what is this? What is this? My friends were asking, what is it that you're doing? And they also joined me to the 100 days of program as well. And that went on, and that was the time again the Campus Expert program was there. See, I already got rejected 3 times, and for the 4th time the application, I did mention the particular person that posted that status. I would say I already been rejected 3 times. I don't want to apply it again. And he said, he again rephrased my own sentence like, okay, you already applied 3 times. Why don't you apply again for the 4th time? So that's how I again applied the 4th time. And this time I took some time and I got to know what I was missing. See, it's not about the skills, it's not about the way you are presenting yourself, it's not the hype, it's not the open source contribution, it's not about the skills that you have, it's not about the test skills, it's about what you want to do, what you want to actually achieve from the program, what you want to impact from the program. So I was missing that, and I failed to articulate that well, like in the application process itself. And it hit me, and I just put my time and again applied, and fortunately enough, I got the first round clear. I was very happy because I was rejected 3 times, and it was a proud moment. Then in the second round, it was driving down like a 5-minute video resume. I just figured it out like, okay, articulation is the point that I need to focus on. But 5-minute resume of English, I was very bad at that time. I haven't traveled anywhere. I haven't spoken in English in 3 years. Never. I just spoken in native Malayalam. So it was very difficult for me. But I just take it as a challenge. Did a 300 takes and combined it everywhere with some pieces. And that video is still there in my YouTube channel. See, I'm a musician, I already mentioned that. So I upload my own arrangements there. So the video is uploaded there as well. And somehow in February 2022 cohort, I was selected for after applying for the 4th time. And it was a wholesome moment. I was feeling scared and proud at the same time. Like, yeah, everything was hitting me everywhere. So yeah, that's how I got into the program, and from there, the training was there, a lot of exposure was there, met a lot of cool folks. It was amazing. So yeah, that's how I came about the program, in the Campus Expert program, and did my first panel discussion, like before even being a Campus Expert, doing my training and all. I was the first time I traveled. I didn't travel anywhere at that point of time, and I traveled to Kochi for the first time. Did my final discussion for the first time. It was a learning space. So yeah.
Okay, thank you, Alvin. Thank you for sharing your experience, and it was very interesting to listen to you speak. And now we can move on to a last question. And Sannidhya, what is the one piece of advice that you would like to give to students to truly master GitHub and make it their go-to tool for future projects, and especially projects during hackathons?
That's a really big question to ask. I don't think so that it has a specific answer to it. I think everyone has their own way around GitHub. Some, find it more intriguing than others. Some have a more hard time around it. Some just are more technical and just find their ways through issues and pull requests and start the journey of open source earlier. And it's up to the person who's just, if you're so new to GitHub, you have to learn it. Eventually you will have to use it. As Alwin said, it's the bread and butter of us programmers. Later on in life you'll get to use it. It's not a thing to run away from. It's there to help you out. It's there to be with you. and it's just, you know, all of these things, like even commit messages and reverting back to previous commits, and all of these nifty little features. When a code breaks, you'll have to go to GitHub and you'll have to check out to an earlier version of that branch, or you'll have to create multiple branches, one for a production level environment, one for a dev environment, one for a testing environment, and then merge it all into one. You'll get merge configs during the way. You'll have to work your way through that. You'll have multiple people collaborating on a same project. You'll have multiple hurdles along the way, and you'll just find your way through it. As again, Google is the best source of learning and searching through GitHub commands. I think I'll send a cheat sheet to you guys as well, to send it out to folks who are there as well as joining the event. And yeah, for folks who are more experienced in GitHub, just go to Hacktoberfest. The month has started. You have 30 days to get those 4 contributions in. Just look out for repositories. Go to GitHub. Just search, type language colon, and then the language that you like. Type label colon, then Hacktoberfest, and you'll find a lot of issues there. Just get started with them. Love. Just search which language you're proficient at, and just help out others. Help out others. And if you have a project of your own, if you want someone's help, if there isn't anything or any source that you can get your help from, just put out your repository in public. Add those labels to it. Add a little nice description to it. Add a README. Add a contributing.md file to it. Let people know that you want their help in your project. Create issues for your projects as well. Ask people. And eventually your repo will get noticed. The GitHub algorithm lords will bless upon you, and you will get your repository famous one day. You'll have all those stars and all those folks you always hope for. You'll get people contributing towards your project. I've had the same thing done to my projects as well. And one day you'll look at it as a starting point in your career. I got introduced to GitHub myself when I was in my first year. A senior of mine, he was he took us naive little freshers that we were called back then, and he took us all into a meet. He wasn't getting anything out of it. Again, he wasn't any part of any club or a big organization or something. He was just doing it for the fun of it. And he took us all into a meet just like this. He told us how to first make our first pull request, create our own repositories, how to look for repositories to contribute to. That was the time of Hacktoberfest as well. It was the same this October night that we're all in just a few years ago. And that one little good deed just sparked something in a little kid who wanted to do something for community, and here we are, right? So do something for your juniors as well. Do something for people that you want to see. When you get old, those are the generations that will be ahead of you, that will be the face of this earth. And just be a little nicer. Just do things that are of no use to you for now, will be so much more valuable to a person who will be joining GitHub and looking at open source after you. That's one of advice that I have.
Okay, thank you, Sannidhya. Now that marks the end of our panel discussion. Thank you, Viswanatha. Thank you, Alvin and Sannidhya, for sharing your wonderful words. Now let's meet the organizers of Makeathon. First, we have Ashwin, Akash, and Ashita, and they are the trio that who keeps everything on track. So first, we have Ashwin. Ashwin is here to talk with us. Let's give it over to Ashwin.
Hi all. Am I audible?
Yes, Ashwin, you're audible.
Hi. So, like, Makeathon is going to happen this October on 19th and 28th, and CUSAT, Cochin University of Science and Technology. Like all of you know that, but so like we have been like planning a lot of cool stuff for you. Like we have been like brainstorming a lot on how to make this event better for you. Like planning all minute details and stuff. And we have like planned a lot of track prices and other prices for you. Like there are like 10 track prices, and that is like will go around 40 people of you will get prizes and other swags. And we are like working on a lot of what can be done to make this event special for each one of you. So like we all are really excited for this event. Hope you will be too. And a lot of thanks for our sponsors like from EduPort, Orcus, and like Logitech now, and especially for GitHub for like doing all of this. So that is what I would like to say about Hackathon. And if you have any doubts like regarding that, you like need to ask to us as volunteers. You can do that now. And a lot of thanks to Sannidhya, Alvin, and Viswanatha. Like it was really great working with you to collaborate on this.
Thank you for inviting, and yeah, creating a space for having a live discussion like this. Hoping the Hackathon to be an amazing hackathon. And want to applaud everyone, each one of you, the organizers, the sessions, and hi. And yeah. So any feedback from the audiences? I really would pick up feedback or maybe sessions. Discussions, whatever we learn. Anyone? So this is the moment everyone leave. You could push someone to unmute their mics and speak, or call out their names. Ashwin, do you have anyone from the audiences that you can pick for feedback?
Should I pick?
Definitely.
Maybe let's call out Nikhil.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Feedback. It was nice. It was really. I guess I'm a second year student, so I'm just getting into hackathons and all. So I think it was fun and a little overwhelming as well. So yeah, but yeah, great session.
From which college are you?
Fisat.
From Kusat.
Yeah. No, not Kusat. Fisat.
Fisat. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it was a great session, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Maybe one more, right? Maybe we can call Nishan.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Nishan from GEC Palakkad. I just joined for fun. I am Kartha's friend, so. Okay. I joined last moment, so I don't know that much.
Oh.
But he still joined. That's the dedication sort of fun.
Okay.
I think then we can wind up this session, right?
Yeah.
Thanks a lot to Sannidhya, Alvin, and Viswanatha. So, and welcome, Maria.
Okay, sure. So thank you everyone for making Meet It an awesome, and special thanks to the panelists, Alvin, Viswanatha, and Sannidhya. And thank you, Ashwin. And thank you all for making this such an interesting event. And we can't wait to see you all participants for Hackathon on October 19th and 20th. So thank you all. Yes, let's wind up.
Bye, folks.